Welcome, everyone, to another weekly episode of Marked Out Radio. In fact, the last episode of the year. We are the premier podcast focused on the hobby of collecting autographs and photo ops from celebrities and some might say not celebrities. We talk about autograph conventions, on the street encounters, and everything else about this quirky hobby. I'm Sean.
And I'm Dana.
And in this episode, we're going to do our year in review. We're also going to talk about the launch of the year-end awards for the Marked Out autograph collecting community on Facebook. But let's talk about some of the reports we've had this week. I didn't go out of the house this week. I was in with the flu as well. But none of these events were my style anyway. But you were out and about.
As I usually am. I was out and about again. The Mass Appeal pop-up shop in NYC is on, at least for my kind of collecting, is basically like the Northeast Santa Claus this season, just handing out gifts left and right. And this week, the big one was the famed hip-hop icon, producer, DJ, obviously, DJ Premier was at the Mass Appeal pop-up shop. Now, if people are not really aware of DJ Premier, I created this little analogy in my head, which I don't know how people will sort of feel about it, but I see Dr. Dre as Steven Spielberg, where it's more like commercial, bigger in a lot of ways, just showbiz, all that. And DJ Premier is more the Marty Scorsese of hip hop, where he sort of paints and creates like a street, like NYC type of street tapestry, where he tells his story.
Who's the Jim Cameron, the actual top director of all time?
I don't know if I'm putting Cameron over a couple cyborgs and some blue people. I don't know if that's going to really put him over Spielberg for me.
Are we forgetting Titanic?
Okay, so one non-cyborg blue movie. I mean, granted, the people that sunk on the Titanic were probably blue by the end of the whole thing. So
I mean as far as he's by far the most commercially successful director of all time.
All right, so Cameron / Spielberg would be Dre. and Preem is Scorsese. So if you are a hip hop fan with my ears as far as what I like listening to, this was huge. So I got in there a couple hours early because, frankly, I think he's probably even rarer than De La Soul, because they did Rough Trade a year prior. I didn't know how this was going to draw, so I wanted to be nice and early, which I was. And he drew pretty damn well. It was supposed to be a 2-hour appearance. He pulled up basically right on time. As usual, I was joined by my friend Dave and other guys that I've met at all of these different events now that I'm starting to know. And he pulled up basically 10 minutes early, driving himself in his SUV from Jersey. And he was attempting to parallel park in front of the store, and he didn't do very well. As I remarked on the line, I guess you can only be legendary at so many things in life, and you got to be crappy at something. And he was certainly not a great parker, which neither am I. So this was how it worked, and as I've said, these events are always a bit ambiguous until you get there. He was definitely taking photos. No purchase was necessary, which has been more often than not the way they operate at this thing. And it was sort of up in the air if he would sign or not. They said, if you want to be safe, just wait until he gets here to buy anything. And people had 10 and 8 and 6 and all these stacks and stacks of vinyls and whatnot. And security said nothing as the signing was about to begin. People walked up arms full. So I didn't even ask. I just ran right in and bought the 2 vinyls that were there that I wanted. And he absolutely racked. He hit everything. He did my 2 without blinking. He did people's 12 without blinking. Part of me wishes I had more, but then the other part of me recognizes my hoarding tendencies, and I would never have sold them. unless they were like duplicates. And I would have just spent more money on vinyl, had more crap in my collection that I don't need that many of the same person. So I'm happy with 2, but I could have absolutely done 15.
That should be. They should make a T-shirt with that on there.
Yeah,
I'm
just
happy
to
with 2,
sort of
but I coulda
round
gone
it out, for Primo, it was supposed to be a 2-hour event, and I believe he ended up staying close to 4 to finish out the line, because I knew a guy that was on the back end of the line. He was keeping me updated. I was sitting on my couch relaxing when he finally made it through. That's how long he went. He hit
Is that because the
everybody, and
line was that long, or because people were going hog wild with extras?
probably a little of both, but the line was around the block and down the other street. It was definitely pretty long, but I think also people going hog wild. If it would have been a photo only, he would have been done in 90 minutes, I imagine. And if he would have done a combo only, he would have been done probably a little over time. So he let everyone go hog wild. And, a true testament, how many people would keep going hog wild when they are already over the time? That's the classic, like, free signing thing of, oh, we can't allow X, Y, and Z anymore to get everyone through. That's how it always goes.
It always does, yeah.
And it didn't with this one. So shout out to Preem and his team for doing a great job by the fans that night in NYC.
Did you intend to rhyme there, or that was just a helpful coincidence?
I'm hoping he's listening, and I'm hoping he produces my next album.
All right, so then in other hip hop news, DMC Darren McDaniel was out and about, hitting all these different places, and we've had various marked out people hit various places. So you got him at Looney Tunes. How was that?
It was good. It was good. There's something weird. There's something weird going on of late with Looney Tunes. I don't really know how to put my finger on it. I got there as I wasn't super early. I knew I didn't have to be, and I was completely right. There was maybe 20 people online, and I already pre-ordered, so I checked in as their 9-minute videos on Facebook explain you how to do. I walked up and I identified myself. I mean, this wasn't quite 9 minutes to explain, but I guess, there's multiple ways to skin a cat. Anyway, so I check in, I get on the line, and the guy, and I want to be clear and separate this, because I did hear the owner say something. The guy that runs the signings, that guy Larry, are you aware of him? You've seen him before. Actually, yeah.
The guy with the glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked to him at the Bill Macy signing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gotten, and I don't want to, maybe I'm off. I don't think so. He's gotten increasingly sort of strange in how he handles things. He sort of makes things more complicated than they need to be. He went up and down the line. He demanded to see the items that I had in my bag. I guess as if I had 50 vinyl in the bag. He would see and then stop me. So I had to show him my items. Fine, whatever. I show him my book. I show him my vinyl. And he tells me how he knows DMC needs to personalize everything. So I guess my tone sort of gave away what I was feeling. And he's like, no, it's not me. It's not us. It's him. I've worked with him at enough Comic-Cons to know how he is. And in
never
my
mind
head,
that we already know DMC hasn't been personalizing anything on this run.
Yeah.
Because we get reports from it.
I thought about pushing and saying that, but at the end of the day, it's not going to do. It's not doing anything. That's what he wants to do. At that point, I wasn't sure if it was him or the store or what. So he's my tone was not thrilled. He put the Post-it notes on. I could have pulled them off when I got in there, and DMC wouldn't have given a crap. I don't care. I have unpersonalized vinyls. I actually somehow have a handful that are. I don't mind when it's something I'm keeping. If it's a single personalization, that's whatever. So I let it go, whatever. But then when he was on the line, he was working the line. At one point, the owner popped out, and I'm 99% sure this is what he said. He went up to Larry and said, like, how do we know he wants this? And he's like, oh, I just know what he usually does, how he usually is. And the owner's like, okay, and just went back inside. And once I heard that, that told me that wasn't even the store, which is running the event, being whatever. That's the guy running the line. That's on some sort of a power trip or just crazy. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know what his goal is. If he thinks he's hurting resellers, I'm not sure. But it's weird. And listen, I love Looney Tunes because of their location. They have good people. I'll go the next time to someone I want 100%, and I recommend you do the same. But it's weird. And there was someone else I went to there where Larry was doing the same thing, that it needs to be personalized. And I had that same feeling the last time, that they don't care.
I remember the one time, this was years ago, when they had Newfound Glory in there, and they had Newfound Glory will always sign anything you have, and Larry was like, they'll only sign one item, blah, blah, blah. They will not say anything more. And I just walked up to them with a second item, and of course they all signed it, and he like became enraged, like started yelling at me and stuff. But like I think he just kind of, he definitely takes his position in these things very seriously, and I'm not sure that those feelings are necessarily earned. How about that?
Yeah, it's I don't want to be insulting in any way, so I'm not going to say some of the things that are floating around in my head. But I don't think there's any need for a power trip in a position like this. And I also understand that people will take a mile, as we see with DJ Premier, and there's probably some value in having resistance like this. But I could understand having resistance on 10 items versus one. But you're actually making DMC work harder. You're making the line take longer as a result of this extra writing and all this stuff. For what? For what reason? If DMC doesn't care, if it seems like the store doesn't care, why do you? Why are you making this guy write more stuff? To do what? To make someone not sell the vinyl that they had in their house since 1987 that looks like it was dragged behind a city bus? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. But whatever.
Yeah, he's a strange dude. He is. Let's call it what it is. Let's not pretend he's not.
Okay. So the event was good. While I was there, I saw a gentleman walk up, and some older woman asked him for a selfie as he was going into the store. He did it. I knew he was someone, and I immediately started combing the archives as best I could to figure out who. The problem is with a lot of these old school hip hop guys, they haven't really been seen in any like music videos or anything in 35 years. So you may have known what
Well, they
look
got
like.
old, they got fat, they got bald. It's hard to recognize
Yeah.
them.
So I'm thinking, who the hell is this guy? So I'm trying to figure it out. We get inside for the performance, and luckily DMC, always friend to the hobby, announces on the microphone that yet another legend is in the house, and he announces that Parrish Smith, the PMD of EPMD, was in the house, and that everyone, which I'm not sure how he felt about this, but DMC goes, every single person in this building should not leave without getting a picture and an autograph from this man, because he is a legend.
Threw him right under the bus.
Yeah, completely under the bus. So I then spend the next 25 minutes enjoying the performance. I will actually enjoy a performance if it's someone I enjoy their content. I like his music. So
I don't believe for a second you enjoyed the performance.
Well, I usually do more than I did this time, because I was just frantically like watching to make sure he didn't slip out the door. So I had to keep watching him while recording content. So I was a little less carefree than I usually am. But the last time I heard the performance with nothing hanging over my head, I absolutely enjoyed it. I recorded everything, and I think I posted a lot of it. So anyway, he didn't leave. The performance went on, and then, which was, I wasn't entirely sure why they did this. They sent everyone back outside to sort of rejoin the line in a helter-skelter way after the performance, when you could have really just kept everyone lined up in the aisles, since they were already inside, and just run the signing from those lines. But
yeah,
I guess
Looney Tunes has definitely, they have their own style for these signings, and a lot of their stylistic choices, shall we say, are annoying.
Yeah, Like, I know with Junior Marvin, it was less attended than this. That's how they did it. They basically just made everyone line up from where they were watching, and that was the line. But whatever. So they sent everyone back outside. I was closer to the front, and I punted on my line position because I needed to get Parrish Smith inside before I left the store. So he, of course, as this happens in the hobby, he goes in the back room to see DMC and the kid and all these other people that were there. And I guess the owner was back there. So I'm like just skulking around the store, like browsing the rack, which was actually legitimate because I was hoping they would have some EPMD used vinyl somewhere out there. Hell, I would have taken a used CD. So I could have gotten a combo, but they had absolutely nothing. And he finally popped out. He was having a conversation with some older women, and I broke the ice after that. He was very nice.
Demographic, come on.
Yeah. He was nice. I then joined the line, which ended up with me being second to last, which was whatever. So I'm on the line, and funny enough, everyone else, and mind you, these are people that aren't quite as deranged as me because I don't know them. These are more casual people, but they're still deranged enough to go spend a December afternoon in the freezing cold to meet DMC. So they aren't normal. But all of these people besides me just left the store. They didn't care to wait for PMD. They just left. So right there, I knew I was crazier than all of them. And as I'm on the line, I see him leave, and like people are noticing, but it's that thing with less deranged people.
They're paralyzed.
Yeah, they're paralyzed. They're scared to break the ice. They don't know how to break the ice. And I guess luckily for the people, unluckily for DMC, there was a group of very obnoxious middle-aged white women there. And apparently,
I guess they're very good at breaking the ice.
Oh yeah, she felt completely entitled to the photo op, and she didn't ask. She shouted, "Where are you going? You have to take a photo with me." So he kind of like, he's like, "Ha ha ha! It's cold. You guys are gonna ruin my holiday," type of thing. And they take like some awful group selfie with, I think it was the women that were in the group and other people. It was terrible. And then other people start having the gumption then to like approach him. So people are getting pieces of paper signed. People are getting their individual photos. The poor guy was freezing by then because he had no coat on. He just had whatever suit he had to look cool at the event and ran in from his car and thought he'd run out just the same. And thanks to DMC and the group of white women, he was now being just peppered by these people. But he was a true champ. He did it for everybody. He wished everyone a happy holidays, Merry Christmas on his way to his car. And he got the hell out of Dodge, I guess, before those women wanted something else out of him.
Maybe some DNA.
I mean, listen, I think he has some DNA from them on his cheek. They were kissing him. And there was zero, like, "Hey, do you mind if I kiss you on the cheek?" And
they were just going for it.
Yeah, which is what we've said on this show a lot. The women are worse than the men, by and large. But, you know. So anyway, got inside. A lot of the line was getting pissed off because we were on the last row of the line. And the store is empty besides the one line of people that they bring in. And people are bitching and complaining, and I don't blame them. that's not my style.
Yeah, why don't you? Well, yeah, they used to do it. So I've been to Looney Tunes signings where they snake the line through the store.
Yeah, and then finally, with like 9 people left, they're like, "Oh, we'll bring you in that like last row they have by the window that has that chair." So they put the last row on that line. But like, you could have had us snake through the store for the entire time. And forget being humane and kind to the people losing fingers from frostbite. You maybe could have made some sales because Christmas is coming. People are stuck in a line. What else are they going to do? They're going to browse. And maybe, I bet you they would have sold at least 3 or 4 items from the line. But, oh well.
Listen, I'm a big believer in the myth of the American small business. That a lot of we as a society tend to lionize these people, and we've created this whole mythology about the American small business. Most American small business owners are absolute morons, and the only evidence I have for this is I've talked to enough of them. A lot of times their success, whatever it is incidental. They just happened to be successful because of whatever circumstances. And I think this store is it's weird because on one hand you look at what they do and it seems like they there's no logistics to any of it. They're buying stuff is difficult. Their website is a nightmare. There's so many factors, and yet they've managed to stick around for quite a while. So,
and listen, I'm glad they do. I'm glad they do because flaws aside, they're always a place that pushes for photo ops, and they're local. So thank you, Looney Tunes. Despite my criticisms, it's all said with love and hope you keep around for several more decades.
As a wise man once said, peace and humptiness forever.
Yes.
What else? DMC also made the rounds elsewhere. Zach and Vinny, they hit the Paper Plane Coffee Company. I'm not familiar really. I guess this is a local place in Jersey. They had announced no extras in advance, but as seasoned hobby veterans, Zach and Vinny know that just because the venue announces something does not mean that it's actually true. And so they recognized that attendance was light, and they walked in there and got all of their items signed by DMC. So I know Zach had some figures, of course he did, and Vinny had some 8x10s naturally
without nipples.
Yes,
and no shirtless DMC photo.
Nothing larger than an 8x10 either. And that's that. And then Greg 2600 hit the Clifton, New Jersey Barnes and Noble. I think Greg's was actually first in this series.
Yes.
And he got there were a bunch of extras of it. There was not even a pretense of not signing extras there at the Barnes and Noble.
And there also wasn't a pretense, and there was 0 personalizations unless you asked for one.
Yeah,
as I knew.
Funny how that goes.
Well done, guys. And honestly, Zach, those figures I'm kind of jealous of, but next time DMC is around, I think I'll get a figure.
It's always something. What else we got? Greg 2600 also. He did more than just DMC. He did there was some stuff with in York, Pennsylvania. Somewhere I actually go to York, Pennsylvania once a year on vacation. It's a lie. But what something is in York, Pennsylvania is kind of a cool place called Timeline Arcade. I have never seen this place before, but I saw pictures when I was looking at Greg's report. It's this gigantic, kind of vintage arcade, classic arcade place. It looks really cool. And that place, they held like a 90s reunion, they called it. They had the voice from NBA Jam. They had, I guess, the guy who did motion capture for Guile from Street Fighter, and they also had a couple. I am a huge Mortal Kombat fan. From the original Mortal Kombat game, they had the digital actors, Ho Sung Pak, who played Liu Kang, Brian Glynn, who played Shao Kahn, and Danny Pacino, who played pretty much the rest of the male characters besides Kano. He was Johnny Cage and the Ninjas, which was a really cool. And they took awesome photo ops where they put you in front of a banner that looked like Mortal Kombat, and they had the guys punching you in the face. It looked fantastic. It really it makes me regretful for even not knowing about it. But truthfully, I wouldn't have driven all the way to Western or Central Pennsylvania for something like that. But really, it makes me look at those Timeline Arcade stuff in the future. Maybe if they have something, and we happen to be it happens to be Steel City weekend or something like that, it might be worth doing a double hit. It looked super cool. I really enjoyed those pictures. And then also on the street, Greg got Ryan Reynolds, Matthew Broderick, Albert Brooks, Emily Jones from Lock and Key, a bunch of really cool hits on the street as well.
Did Greg post Ryan Reynolds on the group? Was that on the Facebook? Or was that on the forum post?
He posted. I think he posted the autograph on the group. He got him on a Guardians of the Galaxy poster.
No, that's Bradley Cooper. Greg's gonna have a field day with this. Ryan Reynolds isn't in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, my bad. Was it Bradley Cooper? I typed the wrong thing in here. It was. I actually meant to type Bradley Cooper and I typed Ryan Reynolds. I'm not sure why.
Greg 2600 is all a flutter now with this correction. Yes, it was Bradley Cooper.
And I was thinking, it's the thing, I was thinking Bradley Cooper, and I typed Ryan Reynolds, and I'm not
The
sure
only
why.
reason the only reason I served as quality control now is I was irrationally annoyed that Ryan Reynolds, who is one of my rare names that a lot of people don't have, is this becoming more and more easy. I'm like, what the hell? Everyone's getting him now. So I wanted to see it. Yeah.
That's funny. No, yeah, that was my bad. I completely didn't even it's funny because I literally was thinking Bradley Cooper, and I typed Ryan Reynolds. Very strange.
But listen, Bradley Cooper deserves some credit because this is one of the bigger names in Hollywood at this point, and he's kind of always like he's always gettable. He always gives his time to people at these events and different things. He's one of the better A-listers out there.
I guess that's worth something.
I think so.
Anyway,
speaking
that
of
was
A-listers.
What?
I'm saying, speaking of A-listers,
so you got your poll.
I ran my poll, yes. I took 3 people that did international cons in 2025. It was Nicolas Cage, Johnny Depp, and Bill Skarsgård. And I am absolutely far from inventing the wheel here or reinventing it. This is something a lot of other pages and groups do. And honestly, it always seems like a fun little way for engagement to happen and just conversations to start. So I dipped my toe in the whole like reaction poll game. And it was a hit, it seemed. And shockingly to me, I was expecting old Captain Jack to win. But Nicolas Cage won out over Johnny and Bill for the most desired name to make a U.S. crossover.
And I guess the point of it is that these guys have already dipped their toe in con waters. They've already danced with the devil, so to speak. They've taken con money, so it's not like they're gonna turn their noses up at the concept of it. So that's why there's a realistic, feasible chance for any of them. Now, I know that Dave from Monster Mania, because he's running an Welcome to Derry reunion, naturally, he's been getting hounded with requests for Bill Skarsgård. And so he's already kind of let the cat out of the bag that, at least publicly, Bill was a one and done after doing that show in Japan. Now, is that true? We don't. I mean, you know how it goes. You can never really know when someone is completely off the table as a con guest, but at the very least, he appears to be. With Johnny, I mean, what's his name? Ryan, what's his name? The dude the agent, the guy who said that Johnny was a one and done.
Sean Clark.
There you go. Sean Clark. He's kind of hinted that wasn't really hinting. He kind of stated that Johnny was a one and done. But again, these guys, you always got to take them with a grain of salt. Their proclamations, public or otherwise. But what do you think? Are we going to see? Cage in 2026?
Well, listen, I'm not trying to be too bold in this part of the show, but I'm kind of the belief that all 3 of these guys are in play. I think Bill is probably the most likely because he's young and he has decades upon decades to eventually say, screw it, let's make some 7-figure paydays doing different cons. Because I mean, Pennywise, he's Nosferatu. At this point, he is to a Robert Englund level of con horror headliners for sure. And I think he would do. I think his horror roles are big enough where, much like Englund, he could be one of the headliners of a non-horror con. So there's paydays for all 3 of these guys. They would headline any con in the country.
I just don't know if Bill would truly draw what he would need to draw to make up for his payday. I know that Johnny and Cage, Johnny Depp and Nicolas Cage would draw to justify their payday. I'm not sure Skarsgård would, but I mean, I would love to be proven wrong on something like that. I would love to see, someone get a little bold with a US con this year in 2026, but we got to see. Are we doing the next bullet?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so it was posted on there's another group that's I guess you can call it a sister group to Marked Out, where they have they post, like, I'm not really involved with it, but they post when people find like people selling fake autographs either on eBay or some of the vendors on Facebook. It gets posted and people have a look and decide for themselves. And a vendor by the name of Wrestling Inc. They've been around a long time. We've seen them in a lot of shows. And they got caught selling what's known as Staten Island autographs. Staten Island are we lovingly and affectionately refer to them as that because they all originate from Staten Island from a company called Power Pro Wrestling Figs, or PPWF. They're kind of infamous for selling these fakes. And they always sign them in the same blue deco. That's how you hear people joke if an item is signed in Staten Island blue. That's where that joke comes from. But anyway, there was a rock, the Rock, Dwayne Johnson autograph. It was encapsulated by PSA, of course, giving it extra credibility in certain people's eyes. But to those who know what to look for, it's a pretty standard Staten Island blue fake. And the people involved all know better. They all know it's a standard Staten Island blue fake. They all know that Power Pro Wrestling not only sells fakes, but also has a pipeline to PSA to get those fakes authenticated. This is pretty well documented. And so another vendor is caught with their hand in the cookie jar.
Yeah. Obviously, it's authenticated by PSA. So, I mean, there's always the people that are going to say, how do you know better than PSA? How do we know it's not real? And the reality is, if you were not in the room when someone signed it, you don't know if it's not real. You don't know if it is real. I've been around long enough where I don't trust PPWF. I don't. People swear that their unsigned original promos are authentic. I wouldn't even trust that because I don't have that kind of knowledge of paper and all that stuff to be able to know if I'm being duped or not. People that seem to know buy from them and feel confident that the original promos are good. So maybe they're good for that. I don't know. But I personally don't trust PPWF. I know a lot of collectors I know as well do not trust PPWF. So it's important I'm glad that things like this get pointed out by, the community at large, because it's important to know if you trust PPWF and you think PSA is completely unblemished and ironclad and you trust it's real, that's awesome. I'm not going to tell anyone not to think something is real. I just want to lay out the facts, and that's the facts. That's what a lot of people think about PPWF. That's their connection to PSA. And personally, I wouldn't want any PPWF pieces in my collection. So for people out there that were shopping, it's just important to know the source of the items.
Right. That autograph that Wrestling Inc. is selling came from PPWF. Or any questions about its authenticity, those are up for debate. You want to debate its authenticity? Fine. The source was PPWF. I'd stake a limb on it.
Yes.
How about that? So we had our weekly Wicked Ink Wednesday, some really fun, cool stuff. Captain Kangaroo, he posted, I guess he had a screen used Eric Bischoff photo that was on Eric Bischoff's office wall when he was the general manager of Raw, and which he had then later signed by Eric Bischoff. But also there was a piece of gum stuck on the nose that had been put up there. I forget which female wrestler put it up there as part of
Maria.
It was Maria. Oh, there you go. So anyway, there's that was a cool item. Then Andrew, he posted a full-size Bad Santa poster, 27 by 40, signed by Billy Bob Thornton. One of these days, we got to go out for Billy Bob when he's at least remotely nearby. Can we commit to that?
Yeah.
All right.
I think
we gotta track his tour. I know that he's not really a Northeast kind of guy, but we have to track his tour.
I think honestly, anything like 3 hours each way is should be our bubble.
Yeah, it's silly. It's honestly silly to not do this.
He's the kind of guy you could bring 2-3 items, he'll hit them all.
I know.
It needs to be done. And that's
So
coming from me, who already has the photo op. I just want the autos.
I mean, he's been in a lot of stuff. He's honestly a great actor. I'm a huge fan of his. So it's honestly dumb that we haven't done this yet. There's no excuse.
This is entering Aykroyd levels, where we've had opportunities and now the opportunities on Aykroyd have kind of dried up.
Now he's doing private.
An empty bottle of vodka. Yeah.
Brutal. It's idiocy. There's not even an excuse for it. And I don't know if you saw this, but Ron, he posted a Jack Tunney index card.
No.
Yeah. I haven't seen Jack Tunney's for those who don't know, Jack Tunney was WWF president, not really president, like their fake president on screen. He was basically the villain before Vince McMahon became the corporate villain. But Jack Tunney he wasn't doing it to be villainous. He was upholding the rules, and Lord knows where that rule book came from, but it was always just funny. They always had him. He was this kind of pudgy guy who came out, and he looked very officious. He looked like he had an air. I remember like believing when Jack Tunney says that's the rule, you have to believe it. It was never what the fans wanted.
Yeah, and at that point, like, Jack Tunney wasn't going to lie. Jack Tunney was always the compass sort of that would steer you where you needed to go, even if it was an unpopular decision. So, yeah, that is pretty damn cool. And back then, index cards were a thing. Like, I don't think now if I go throw a beacon up in the sky and ask for someone to sell me like a Sol Ruka index card, I doubt there's a hell of a lot of them out there. There's not many people in the airports doing the index cards.
I think what it was back then there weren't items for these people, and printing 8x10s was not easy. So you're out there, people with the real graph hunters from back then, that era from the 80s, really, which is when this is probably taking place, the early 90s. People would just walk around with packages of index cards, figuring if you wanted, you can always put them in a frame with a photo in the future.
Yeah, and honestly, I can only imagine the like piece of garbage 8x10 they would have come up with in that era. I guarantee you, anyone that got index cards signed back then are much better for it if those index cards were preserved. I can only imagine what a signed 8x10 from 35 years ago would look like today, with oxidations and all these different effects that would have happened on these cheap printouts.
No, for sure. So very, 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 very cool stuff. Love that. And we have our photo with Friday. Ira had his shot with Seth Green and Bryan Cranston. Did you get that shot or you didn't?
I didn't. I don't know where the hell I was when that. I don't even know if I was at that show. Was that like that one right after COVID that I didn't do? I don't even know.
I don't know. It was near. It looked like New York Comic Con. I didn't have it
either. It was
New
York Comic Con. Yeah.
So maybe it was a panel. They had to get it. I don't remember what the deal was, but it was a scenario where that was even possible. And thinking back, like those kinds of big names are not accessible in that way anymore at New York Comic Con. It's just not a thing. So, very cool there. Did you see Sal put a photo up with Larry Hagman?
I did.
So that's those kind of classic shots, and even he was in like, I'm not gonna say costume, that's not true, but certainly gimmicked up a little bit. That's pretty cool.
He did a chiller when I'm shocked you weren't at that chiller. He did a chiller in our wheelhouse. That was one of those shows I just inexplicably didn't do.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, there was also certain guests where I mean, I could see myself even passing on a Larry Hagman in the moment,
Yeah.
Like I passed on all those guys, the classic guys who are now dead. Really, I'm actually very lucky that I got oh God, Jeremy Bullock, who is Boba Fett, because he was at every chiller, and at one of them I was like, you know what, let me just do it, and I'm glad I did because he died shortly thereafter.
Let that be a lesson. You got to get every guest that can die one day.
Yeah, that's a long list. And then
pretty good.
Did William posted a shot with Harry Connick Jr. Very cool. Also, that's a name you don't see around too often. I know that my understanding he's pretty approachable on the street, but you just don't see him around. And Harry Connick, he's known for being a musician, but he's been in a bunch of stuff as an actor. So that's a pretty cool shot.
He'd be a nice chill out type name.
I agree. He might be a little pricey. He has money, so I don't think he needs to do those kind of things. There were not too many con announcements this week, but there were a couple. Chill Out added kind of a big one. They added Carmen Electra. I mean, she had her moment, certainly.
Yeah. I think Chill Out personally is 2 for 2. I think this is a great start. I know Class 316 was all disappointed about Carmen and Dolph. I don't know what the hell he was expecting. And I mean, the guy barely spends $1 at a lot of these cons when he gets done with splits and triple splits and switcheroos and all this stuff. So people like him complaining about everything, I don't get. To me, Carmen Electra is an awesome name. I think Dolph Lundgren's an awesome name. I think Chill Out is on most people's radar right now in the Northeast because they are bringing it so far.
Yeah. I think again, these are not, I don't need Dolph. I have Dolph. I would probably get a photo with Carmen Electra if attendance works out for that show.
Yeah,
Steel City?
I'll get Carmen just on the fact that she married Dennis Rodman. That was like a moment in time.
Yeah, I mean, she used to do Howard Stern a lot. She's intersected with my wheelhouse a few times, so I'll do that. Steel City announced William Shatner.
Good old Shanter.
Oh, good old Shanter. Yeah. I mean, Shatner's been around. Shatner always draws. I'm waiting for Steel City to do something magical to get me back. Let's go. Steel City, put up the money. Let's get Sam Neill and Laura Dern in there. Let's stop playing around. Let's be real for a second. Just get it done. Enough with the nonsense. And then Monster Mania, they added the Pennywise stunt double, which I was like, okay. But of course, this is the big payoff is obviously he'll do things in costume, the photos in costume, and they also added Elizabeth Shue, who I think, is a phenomenal guest. Just hasn't done a hell of a lot at all, and I think is an in-demand name. So yeah.
For some reason, I thought Elizabeth Shue already happened, and to make matters worse, I thought I already got her, and then I did some research, and I absolutely did not get her, and I can't for the life of me figure out if she was announced for something briefly or rumored for something briefly and then didn't pan out, or I'm just completely delusional and deranged. I don't know, but I went through like albums of photos and I don't see the image in my head that I remembered it looking like. So I can't even tell you why I was all mixed up on that. But she is a big one. I will get her for sure. And the Pennywise stunt double was something that at first I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then I was like watching the last couple episodes of the show, and like I saw the scene with the costume, and like you said last week, I think you said it. No, actually, no, you said this to me privately. Pennywise is so much about the scenes where it's Bill, like the talking is so important. This isn't like a Myers or a Jason where they're all kind of stunt doubles and it's all sort of interchangeable. Like, I think I'm passing. If the costume looked screen level, it's cool, but I mean, not $105 cool for a stunt double. So I think I'm passing on him in every way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, that was my feeling. Was that again? Pennywise so relies on Bill's face, Bill's doing that whole shtick that he does. I don't see how you. It needs to be Bill. Anything other than Bill doesn't make any sense, and I wouldn't even want it. When you see the back of the guy's head when he's running around, it's just, come on, what are we doing? I have Yeah, I have no interest, and I understand that people. There are some people who want like everyone possible from a particular property, and I get like I'm guilty as charged in some cases of that, though, that sentiment as well, but not in this case. So
Yeah, for me personally, I collect. I have far too many irons and far too many flames for me to be that diehard with anything in particular. I can't, because then why want to not the other 40 franchises that I am passionate about? So
for sure, exactly. It just doesn't make any sense. So not for me anyway. And I'm sure I'll be spending other money on in 2026 as well. What else we have? That's it for announcements. So if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason or no reason at all, please email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join the Marked Out autograph collecting community on Facebook. All links are in the show notes on Facebook and Substack. If you want your event, product, or brand advertised on episodes of Marked Out Radio, reach out to us today, markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com. Also, please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts and leave a rating and or review. On Apple Podcasts, you can leave a rating or review for the whole show. On Spotify, you can leave comments on individual episodes, or you can leave a rating overall. And on YouTube, you can leave a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment on individual episodes. We look forward to and are excited to hear your engagement. And now through the end of the year, we're running a special sale on autographed Harry Potter Funko Pops signed by Daniel Radcliffe. They're $120 shipped. God, today's a day. Please email us, markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com, or DM on Facebook to buy.
So and again,
sorry, go ahead. I jumped the gun.
That $120 price, as I said before, that is Facebook only. There was some Italian collector on eBay trying to get us down to that number. And listen, not for that price, pal. With fees and all this other stuff, I don't care what kind of customs fees and international taxes you're paying. We can't go under that number. This is as it is. We're kind of blowing these out to the benefit of the buyers. So if you want 120, that is only through us direct. eBay is 140. So hit us up.
I think you're going to kayfabe those numbers, but now that's it.
Yeah, I'll be real.
Yeah. So all right, let's do it. So this is our end of year episode. So if you're here with us now, you know that for the year end awards, we put up a Google Doc that we're asking you to please. It's a little bit cumbersome, I know, but it's a Google form that you can put your nominations. We have a lot of categories for end of year, and then once we're leaving that Google form up through New Year's Eve all the way till 11:59. At which point I'm not doing anything, so I'll take those nominations. We'll go through them, and from those nominations, we will build a voting ballot where you, the users, the listeners, the posters of the Marked Out Radio, Marked Out Collectibles, autograph collecting community can decide your year-end award winners.
Yeah, listen, I thought I met Elizabeth Shue at a convention, and it never happened. So please don't rely on me to remember that you got an awesome piece signed in February. I'm probably not going to remember what I got signed in February. So these nominations...
I was looking through my own stuff. I'm like, what? When did I do that?
Yeah. So obviously it's going to be the most helpful for you to sort of nominate your own stuff because you are the curator of your own life. No one should know what you do better than you. But also, I know on my nomination ballot, I threw some other people's stuff out there that I remembered fondly. Because I never want to be that person that, like, let's say the biggest name I met all year was Ray Apollo Doink. And I'm going to go throw Ray Apollo Doink versus someone that met Tom Cruise. Like, that would be a little, whatever, to each their own. But I try to have situational awareness and recognize that there's going to be other people's accomplishments that will outrank mine in certain ways. So the easy part is doing your own stuff. And then if you remember other stuff that really wowed you from the community at large, please throw that in as well. so we don't have to use our bad memories to sort of piece this together.
Absolutely. So hopefully we get a lot of participation there. That said, right now we're going to do our own little wrap up of 2025. We had some questions come in. Like I know Bessels had asked, Rockin' with Dan, he asked as 2025 starts to come to a close, who are your top 5 meet and greets this year? So we're definitely going to cover that as part of our end of year. Jack had asked, what was your collecting high and low of 2025? We'll incorporate that into our highs and lows. So we're going to talk about, like last year we had certain things that were predictions. So we'll talk about we'll evaluate some of those predictions, how we did and what our new ones are for this year. So let's start out with our marked out collectibles moment of the year.
Wait, moment or moments? How many did you do?
Moments. I have 4 on my list.
I have 4. Okay, we're good. So what did we do last year? We did 1, 1, 1, 1, right? Like that.
I think we were alternating these mostly.
Yeah. All right. So my first moment, and I don't think these are not always in particular order. They're kind of all.
Just keep in mind that we're doing these cold. So Dana does not know what I wrote. I don't know what he wrote. So if we duplicate certain things, it's going to happen. It is what it is.
Yes. All right. For me, number 1, having an active WWE champion with his belt at our table, not once, but twice.
Yeah, I mean, I had that too. So it's one of those things that most in this era of, I mean, certainly in the old days, in the 90s, early 2000s, like guys like Legends of the Ring could talk about. That was something that Terrence was able to do at those independent signings at the mall, and those guys, George, those guys who did the mall signings and the store signings, they were able to do. That's been in the I mean, for the last more than 10 years or so, that's not been possible.
No.
And we've only really been able to do this because of the weird circumstances surrounding the Evolve belt, and also our relationship with Jackson. And so, I mean, it's on my list. It's a very cool thing, I think.
Okay. So I guess that was your return fire. Or do you want to go again?
No, I'll go again.
Okay.
We actually skipped the first one because it's not bulleted properly on the damn thing. There we go. Now it is. Do you see that?
No. Yeah, now I do.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
It was a copy and paste. We'll get there. It's fine. So I also, as a marked out collectibles moment of the year, that WWE ID signing that we did in Deer Park over the summer, where we pretty much locked down all of the ID talents at once. And the funny thing was, the ones who we didn't lock down that day wound up getting released from their ID deals shortly thereafter. So, and even sadly, some of the guys we did lock down that day also were released from their WWE ID deals. So, but that was a particularly fun day. Being present for those pre-show meetings, being present for the booking meetings. It was just a wild environment, and it was just a wild day. That was probably in terms of like hobby experiences, that was my top experience of the year.
I can't believe I forgot that from my list, because that would have topped almost all of this. But yes, I agree.
You actually forgot that it happened?
No, I remember. I guess I wasn't thinking of it in this context. I was thinking our bookings more than that. I don't know why, but absolutely a huge moment. Watching the promo shots with the belts be taken, seeing the belts before like the general public did, like all of that was kind of wild.
Yeah, it was the belt shots that made the whole day as well.
Yeah. My second one was watching the marked out autograph collecting community. Well, first of all, become the marked out autograph collecting community. We had it had a crappy name that I gave it that didn't accurately capture an iota of what it is. But watching it literally quadruple in size. We started this year that I was like, oh, we're right around 1,000. And now we're sniffing 4,500. And that is entirely the community. Of that 4,500, I am but one person. Two, if you count the marked out radio page. So I mean, that would be one crappy group if it was just about me or up to me to sort of fill it. So the community at large, they show out and come for all this stuff, and it grows and grows and grows every single day. And I, thank you to everybody, as I say all the time, and I'll keep saying.
So that's so my turn. I'm gonna say doing big event with the boys, with the Vanity Project. That whole day was crazy. From the day before when they all basically texted us at the last minute and said, "Oh, by the way, WWE changed our travel plans." And then you're doing that whole scramble of trying to get them to the con, which was rebooking flights, and then running to the airport and getting them from the airport, and then figuring out how to get them all home, and like doing all of those logistics at the last minute was a lot of fun. But it was really a lot of fun to hang with those guys and watch them kind of develop their public persona, not just the persona that they use when they're performing on camera or in the ring, but watching them develop their public persona when they're interacting with fans, and trying to kind of see what works and what doesn't work. And it was a fascinating thing to see and be a part of.
Agreed. Next for me, which is similar to the last one, but it's also very different. Getting to sort of watch and experience all of you listening every single week to Sean cursing out chiropractors and me buying expensive toys and waiting in the cold for old rappers, just watching the listener base grow. And basically as a result of that space growing and that like, overall, just like the audience growing, it allowed us to sort of have a couple of moments this year that I don't know if saying it sort of shook the collecting world, that's overstating it, but I mean, some of the stuff with the Staten Island graphs and that Ric Flair scandal, we had some pretty big moments that we were able to break on here in 2025.
I agree with you. I do. I think that slowly but surely we're doing it right. We're building a steady base where we're not doing it by constant sensationalism. A little bit of sensationalism, sure. I know there've been some critiques about some of the guests who we had on and that was sensationalistic, but I mean, I thought we were willing to get, I'm going to be honest, we were willing to get like a stable, interesting, sane interview out of a few people who I am not sure many other people could do. And there was a few like that where we and as a result we're getting new people coming by who are sticking around, who are listening to all these, as the episodes get longer. They're originally an hour, now they're like an hour and a half, some of them are 2 hours. We're starting to build a stable, steady base, which is just kind of wild to see.
Yeah, just a quick shout out. How wild was that we had the post on the group this week from the gentleman who discovered us like last week or something crazy, and he was like up to episode 5 already. Adam said he started listening at his job that day, and he's through episode 5. He listened to 5 episodes.
I am always in favor of, as they say, this, you want to take a dump on the boss's dime, right? Make sure you take a dump when you're getting paid, not when you're home.
Those are the best.
Right. And likewise, any marked out radio you can squeeze in while you're on the clock, I heartily approve.
Yeah, do it.
And then the final one I have on here is being second row for NXT Gold Rush, and being there, being present for the boys, their first meaningful big show on television, at MSG. Someone screen capped and sent it to me of me jawing with and yelling at Ricky as they were during the ring entrance. That whole experience, I was on TV for a fair chunk of it. It was pretty funny, when Jackson was being introduced and they were cutting away to the crowd showing the boos. I was one of the cutaways booing my head off. It was, I know it was kind of a last minute, uh, kind of the second kind of decision, split second decision, just do it, impulse buy. And I'm very, very, very glad that I did that, and very glad that I was there.
My final one is similar to that. Shockingly, I don't really have a regret of not buying the ticket. I was more than happy just watching on TV. That was good enough for me. But seeing through a TV screen, of course, you had the better view, but seeing our guys at MSG days after we had them was sick. Seeing a guy who, I mean, it's sort of a joke at this point now with all the little bits of controversy that came from when I was with Joe Hendry, that he was all upset about the major bendy bubbles and different stuff. Maybe I don't love every aspect of Joe Hendry's persona and personality when you actually like deal with him. But I will say this was a guy that for 3 years ago, I was saying to you, let's book. I got a quote on Joe Hendry, and seeing him now that he was on SmackDown this week singing about the Miz's testicles, he's arrived. And it feels good. It feels good that for the last couple of years, I've been trying as a collector first, then as a business to identify the future talent. And by me, I mean both of us, we've done pretty damn good.
Oh yeah. I'm very proud of how we've done. I mean, and I always have that doubt. Like, are we going to be able to see anyone else? Is our predictive capability over? And I'm not sure the answer to that. We've kind of gone back and forth on that, but I think we did all right. And those guys did a fantastic job this year.
Agreed.
So I skipped over our personal meets of 2025. So I guess let's do that. You want to do them in any kind of order?
You want to go 1-1-1-1?
You want to go 5-5? In other words, least to most?
Sure. All right. So this is a combination of me trying to, in some cases, the bigger names are the ones that matter most, but then, this is just based on my own preferences. Number 5, for the second time today, the incomparable DJ Premier.
Okay. I wouldn't have predicted that. That's crazy to me. But all right, good. I like that. That's so different from mine. My number 5 is going to be Reese Witherspoon. I'm a fan of Reese Witherspoon's. She was on my list for a long time as people I would hope to get. The reason why it's number 5 is because I had to sit through that inane book talk to get it. And also it was expensive. But Reese Witherspoon is my number 5.
I can't argue it. It's not on my list, but I can't argue it. Number 4 for me, and it's actually shocking that he would be number 4, but that shows the year I've had. Mr. Tiger Blood himself, Charlie Sheen, finally, after I was unable to go to the thing he did in PA, I was unaware of the thing he did in New Jersey. I was caught flat-footed with him a couple times, and I never got him. I didn't do the Radio City meet and greet when he went nuts and went on tour yelling about Chuck Lorre. Like all the opportunities I had, I never did. So this time I ventured to bookends and I got it done. So Charlie Sheen absolutely rounds out. He doesn't round out, but he makes up part of my top 5.
I'm gonna go ahead and say as my other name for number 4, we're gonna have I'm gonna put them together, but the Jurassic Park kids. They were what got me, at least I wouldn't say they were kind of what sealed the deal on Steel City, that trip. I was very, 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 and I was very, very glad that they were on that booking, and they're only number 4 because I was really hoping that they were going to be like the launching point to getting Goldblum and Neil and Dern, but they weren't. But still phenomenal. Number 4.
I hear it. All right, number 3 for me, an A-lister who I absolutely never expected to get, Kevin Costner. It cost several arms and a handful of legs, but he did Fanatics Fest. I don't think he really had an amazing time. I'm glad I got him. I originally got him with glasses on. Then they lost our photo. We had to take it again. He had no glasses on, which was funny. Yeah, Costner was a huge one. I am a big Field of Dreams guy, even though I know you think it's melodramatic drivel.
It is melodramatic.
That is the kind of thing that tugs on my heartstrings. I love movies like that. So I
You
am
cried?
very. I think I did, and I haven't watched it since I lost my father. So if I watched it again, I probably really would. So yeah.
Number 3 for me, I'm gonna go with Sigourney Weaver. Um, you know, Sigourney's addition to New York Comic Con was my justification for praising New York Comic Con up and down as a phenomenal lineup this year. So I gotta, put my money where my mouth is. And Sigourney was a huge, 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 huge con guest this year. I'm very, very glad I got her.
And for a few ticks there, you were actually considering skipping.
Yeah, for a minute, that's true. But they really, yeah, they outdid themselves. They this year, I thought they did a great job. But yes, that is fair.
All right, my number 2, and yet another name I never thought I would get. My number 2 is the eccentric and lovable Bill Murray.
I mean, what's funny is Bill Murray is not on my list. It's just crazy because he was actually the first big name we got last year. But
Yeah. I mean, at least you're consistent, because you said that you kind of regretted doing it based on your actual fandom of Bills. You didn't really like him in much, I guess.
I don't really like him in anything. Big Ghostbusters. That's it.
Yeah.
That's really it.
So
I guess
the only thing
Groundhog's Day is okay for what it is, but that's it.
the only thing that would have made it better is Bill and I had that moment where he told me he thought the Mets might win it all. And if we would have broken our 40+ year drought after Bill prophesized it, that would have been absurd. But of course, the Mets are still the Mets, and Bill was wrong. And, here we are.
All right, and wait, that was number 2.
Number 2.
My number 2 is Amy Smart for me. So Amy Smart has been a name that I've been after. If you know me at all about my collecting, I've mentioned it for years. I've been mentioning Amy Smart for years. I really only need for my sort of the movie that I just love more than anything is Interstate 60, which was a it was kind of a Back to the Future knockoff, more or less. It was done by, why am I drawing a blank on the Bob Gale? It was directed by Bob Gale. It has cameos by Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. The stars are James Marsden and Gary Oldman. I got Gary Oldman. I need James Marsden and I need Chris Cooper, and then that poster is complete. So I know Chris Cooper is not he's a great character actor. He's not going to set the world on fire in terms of draws, but if anyone wants to book Chris Cooper, I will be really forever in your debt. And James Marsden needs to do a con already, but Amy Smart is third billing on that movie. I've been asking her to come out, not directly, but I've been asking for someone to bring her out for years, and the fact that she finally came out this year, it forced my hand to Steel City. She was a phenom. She was great. And of course, she was also in Starship Troopers. Doesn't hurt there either. I love Amy Smart. Very, very happy with that booking. Honestly, I'm shocked she's not my number 1, but I have to remain consistent in what my number 1 is. So,
Okay, I like it. And my number 1 is rock and roll icon Keith Richards.
I mean, That's such an interesting one because uh, are you a particular fan of his?
As far as music goes, I'm obviously a rap guy first and foremost, but I've always liked the Stones. I've always liked the Beatles. I grew up hearing them in the car, in the house, everywhere. So yes, I am a Stones fan. I, it was also just the moment of it all was kind of adding to it. If he was like a $3,000 meet and greet, I mean, I probably wouldn't have paid it, but because that I'm sure whatever price he would be would have been just too much for me to justify, as much as I would have wanted to. But the idea that I got the tip randomly, he did it, like it was one-on-one, that adds to it as well. But I mean, he would have been on my top 5 regardless, just maybe a little lower if not for the overall just emotion of it all. It was very cool.
Yeah, I mean, he's no question your biggest name of the year. It goes without saying. I mean, it's very rare that you get to meet rock and roll, like literal rock and roll royalty, which he is. I mean, he is a legend, of which there are very few on that level. Period. You know, I mean, I think you're talking about basically McCartney. And who else besides McCartney is on that level? I don't think anyone.
Jagger.
Maybe. Sure. Jagger, McCartney. Is that it?
Yeah. And then, I mean,
much.
It would be another tier than, Joel and
yeah, but those guys are another tier. I don't think they're the same at all, actually.
Maybe Stevie Wonder. He probably should be. But
I don't think so. I think those guys are. I think McCartney, Jagger, Richards are not. There's nothing above that. I don't think. I don't. Maybe Madonna, but maybe I don't even know if she would qualify. I think that you're talking about people who are so big that they transcend all of everything. So that the fact that you got one of those basically by accident is crazy. So my number one personal meet of the year is someone who I said last year. I was really hoping someone would book, and I was really looking forward to him, and they came through as Dominic Mysterio. Only because I was pissed off last year that Fanatics didn't book him, and I said, you got to book him, you got to take care of this for me, and they did. Dominic did not disappoint. He was great. Yeah. I mean, and what sucks about this is that there are probably 5 other names I could put on there that I had a great time meeting who probably should be on there, but you can only have 5. I guess you could have more. What's stopping us? But anyway, that's our 5 personal meets of the year. Next category is top disappointments of 2025. Ooh. So I have 3. What do you have?
3.
All right. So what's your first disappointment of the year?
Losing the meta glasses, and also losing all the footage, which honestly wasn't all that riveting. But if these guys keep getting bigger and bigger, I honestly want every bit of footage I can have of them at our brandings and banners and tables and everything. So it pisses me off a bit. I lost a lot of proof shots, and I also have to re-spend another $300 to replace them. So that blew.
Yeah. I'm gonna say one of my disappointments of 2025 was that really none of my big predictions from last year came true that I was really leaning on. I was really hoping there would be something public with Sam Neill. There was the private they ran and official picks, was it? I think, or no, it was Everest. We ran a private with Sam Neill. And because we were running around with Steel City, and it was very, very, very quick turnaround with my poster, and I made the decision not to send it out. So I will not have Sam Neill on that poster. I probably never will. It's a little bit of a bummer for me. Yeah, that's a disappointment of mine.
I hear that. My second disappointment also stems from my predictions not coming true. And it's going to be the idea that none of the sort of mid-tier Potter names I predicted came anywhere near us in 2025. I have the main 3. The other ones I don't have are largely dead. So the names I'm looking for are not like, it's not like I'm looking for like Watson to show up. Like I need some of the fringe people, and I'm still waiting. So that was a little disappointing.
Yeah. I hear you. And then also another one of my disappointments this year was I had all these visions, given that we had, we kind of predicted that we would the dam would start to fall when it came to big names doing signings. And we really only had Depp. Costner did the photos at Fanatics, but there was not a really big signing. It was a private signing. And then we only had Depp. So Depp and Costner, not what I expected. I expected the floodgates to open in 2025 with the real A-listers doing things, and it just didn't happen. And I was expecting it, I was predicting it, and it didn't happen.
I hear you. I definitely hear you. I think 2026 will include some more hope on that front, but definitely not what you was expecting. And my final disappointment of 2024, and honestly, I've been struggling and going back and forth with this since it happened. But looking back at the photos and just thinking about the effort that went into doing this, the lineup of the Steel City Con that we did is my biggest disappointment. It wasn't good for me. It really wasn't. There were things I got that I guess I needed, but it was nothing that was super flashy, nothing that was super just feeling that made me feel really like this excited. That trip was saved entirely by the Mr. Rogers thing, which was extremely and totally worth everything I did going there. The expenses, whatever. That was worth it. That saved the trip. I think if I would have just gone to Steel City and returned with nothing else, I think I would have felt like you felt on that line for whoever the hell you were waiting for, the Star Wars name at Comic-Con when you like melted down.
That was the Emperor Palpatine, Ian McDermott.
Okay, well that would have been my reaction. So thank you, Mr. Rogers, for saving that trip to the Steel City.
I find that wild because I thought that show was great. I thought actually great. It's a very funny how we have different views on those things. And like meanwhile at Monster Mania Oaks, I wanted to put my head through a wall. And you were running around like a little kid with a handful of goldfish. So it's funny. And then my other disappointment of 2025 was that our inventory goals were just not met. We had specific inventory. We had specific goals for how our inventory would be cross-platform listed, and it'll be all organized. It just honestly proved to be too big a task for the time we had allotted to it. But I think in the upcoming months are we committing to finishing that?
Oh, for sure. We'll have it done long before spring con season, I hope. Once the holidays are in the rear view, I hope we can start finding some days and do it.
Good. I'm glad because I mean we realized we needed more supplies that we didn't have, and certain things that we didn't have that now we do have. So we'll be ready to rock and roll on that, and I'm pretty excited for that. Okay. Our next category. These are all the ones we're evaluating from last year. So in 2025, you said on this show last year, these were the top 5 realistic names that you hope to get in 2025. You said Ray Fiennes, Bryce Dallas Howard, Ron Howard, Oliver and James Phelps, and Bonnie Aarons. How'd you do?
I got 2 of the 5. I'm happy I got Bryce, but like I'm kind of scratching my head as to why she was that high on my list. But I'm glad I got her. Yeah, I mean, I guess 2 out of 5 is I'm borderline Hall of Fame with that batting average, so I'll take it.
It is strange that Ron Howard didn't do anything in New York, given that he did a bunch of stuff elsewhere. But it's whatever. And then the Harry Potter names were just big swings and misses. They went around doing nothing. Ray Fiennes never came to the U.S., I don't think, for any shows. No. And Oliver and James Phelps just stopped taking bookings. Looked like I didn't see anything either there. My predictions were I predicted another run for Ewan McGregor. That didn't happen. I predicted Sigourney Weaver, and that I wanted to get Sigourney Weaver. That was kind of a big swing. That was
yeah.
that was it was met. I wanted Sigourney. So it was the right time for Sigourney to come out to cons. She did great business at NYCC. She sold out of her autograph allotment, which is kind of nuts. I wanted Jensen Ackles to come around to the U.S. That did not occur. I also thought that John Travolta might come out and start doing cons because he was booked before COVID to start doing cons, and that never happened either. And then I was also predicting Sam Neill and Laura Dern to come around, and we all know how that prediction went as well. So, I mean, I think I took bigger swings, so they were just bigger misses when none of them came to be.
Listen,
all right.
A nice little 1 for 5, 4 strikeouts, and 1 mammoth home run. So you're like Jose Canseco or Glenn Allen Hill, basically.
There you go. And then okay, so realistic names you want in 2026.
All right, let's see.
Give them all at once. I'll do mine then.
Okay. I'm sticking with Ron Howard. Before he dies, I would like to get him.
And he's realistic. He should be doing shows now.
Hopefully none of his children murder him. So, let's keep him safe. And let's get him to a con. Because it's honestly, I think Ron Howard has a good time at the DMV. He has such a good personality and demeanor. I can't imagine he had a bad time. So let's get him somewhere. And I'm not like one of those weird fans that he has to come to this one show. Like on a good year, we'll go Monroeville to Providence. So it's like the net is pretty wide. Hopefully not Monroeville, but let's let him drop somewhere.
Would you do Hunt Valley for Ron Howard?
Well, Hunt Valley doesn't exist. It's Baltimore now.
Whatever. You know what I mean? Maryland.
I would have to get creative, I think. I might have to tie that into a family visit. Yeah, I think I'd have to.
It's closer than Monroeville, though.
Yeah, that's fair. It is.
All right.
Yeah, I'd do it.
What else?
All right. Next on my list, Nicholas Holt, who is extremely realistic. He does a ton of cons. He just canceled hours. So I love Nosferatu, among other things he has done. And I want to get Nicholas Holt this year. My third name is Jaleel White, who we had to miss because of WrestleCon, and that being the weekend that, of course, Pandora's Box had to bring him in to the area. Because, I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you bring him in that weekend? And last but not least is Ray Fiennes. Yet again, Voldemort. I said his name. Hopefully, much like Joe Hendry, he will appear at some con in the Northeast.
All right, for me, I'm looking at top realistic names in 2026. I'm saying it again. I want to put it out into the universe. The Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, Jurassic Park reunion. It has to occur. Someone has to pony up and do it. Sam Neill is getting old. Okay, the other two are still somewhat young. Sam Neill's getting old. They need to make this happen. It needs to happen.
I think I'm losing my hope.
It has to. How could you not? How could you? They all have showed willingness to do things. You just got to pony up.
How could you not? The same reason you never had an NWO photo op outside of Orlando. The same reason I don't think there's been a Four Horsemen group op past, I think Philadelphia, Feinstein and Embler, I think, did it once.
But this is wrestling idiocy. This is Hollywood. You just got to find a money mark and do it. A money mark brought Mr. T to Fan Expo Dallas. Okay, someone spent $2 million on Mr. T. You don't think someone would throw $1 million at Sam Neill? He would show up. Come on, someone's gonna do it. Just do it. If they do it'll happen. I'm willing it into the universe. It has to. Someone with some money.
Are you committing that anywhere in the United States they are booked, you will be there?
100%, without hesitation. There's two movies that are for me. Terminator 2 and Jurassic Park. Those are my movies, okay? So if any kind of major thing happens if they did a full T2 reunion with Arnold, I'd go. For the group op, I'd go.
Shoot.
You would?
If you were, yeah. I think the Jurassic Park would be more of the Jurassic Park would be more of a slam dunk for me. Because listen, I got to rewatch. Since we've last talked about this, I have watched Terminator and Terminator 2. Intellectually, I am aware Terminator 2 is a better movie. It tells a more enriched story as far as having meat and cultural and societal commentaries. I feel like I enjoy T1 better as far as the vibe, the soundtrack, everything. I think it was more fun. I have to watch them both again and see if I still feel that way. But I don't know if I would go that far for a repeat group op for T2. I wouldn't probably get on a plane for that. But Jurassic Park, I would. I need those. I only need Sam, but I would get on a plane for Sam Neill.
There you go. And then also another name on my realistic names to get in 2026. We need Bryan Danielson back on the con circuit. Tom, if he's still your client, it's time. Let's go. Let's do it. And then finally, I still say it's realistic. And again, I'm speaking his name into existence just to make it happen. James Marsden is gonna be on my list in 2026. I did Amy Smart in 2025. I put it out there. Eventually came true. James Marsden, you're next. Someone book it. Let's go.
Imagine James Marsden hits the con scene, but in a Freddie Prinze way, where he just announces and cancels like this perpetually.
I mean, yeah, sure. Let's imagine that. Yeah, it'd be great.
That would be edging of the highest order.
All right. So then, in the other category we had last year was the New Year's resolutions for 2025. So let's evaluate them. So honestly, your New Year's resolutions, you kept to yours mostly.
So I'm the equivalent of like resolving to get like more unhealthy and more fat and slovenly as the year went on, which I mean anyone could nail that. Yeah, anyone. So your
resolutions were keep getting signed Hasbros. I mean, you have accelerated the pace at which you've acquired signed Hasbros. That's true.
I have.
You've been getting more big rubber guys signed. I mean, you just had your demolition. You just got Barry Darsow, the esteemed Barry Darsow, to sign your demolition big rubber guy. He did not finish our inventory across all platforms. That's a resolution not met. And to be ahead of the curve on future stars. How do you feel you did there?
I think we nailed it. My initial sigh is just because right now, which I'll tie into my next year's resolution, I don't know gun to head what comes next for us after the guys we currently have who are starting to sort of outgrow us and move on to like MSG, for example. So I wish we had a few more in the wings after who we already are working with, but so far so good.
Yeah, but what we did with those guys, if you wanted to see Swipe Right, you had to come to us. If you want to see Jackson Drake, mostly you had to come to us. He did a couple appearances locally to him, Comic-Cons and such, but we brought those guys around. We showed them how it's done. I know they're grateful to us. I'm grateful to them.
Yes.
We did that.
How'd you do?
All right. So I had 3 goals for last year. One of them for Marked Out Collectibles to book one unique guest. So, I mean, I'll be honest. I was really shooting for like Blitzkrieg or a Luchador who doesn't come around very much. None of those worked out. I am taking a win, though, because the Vanity Project is our guest. No one else had that. No one else had that all year long.
Oh.
That was us.
I agree. I think that one counts.
It was also, I resolved to downsize my collection. I'm going to be honest, I did not do as great a job as I wanted to. In those first weeks of the year, I probably sold 100, 150 items. And then, the hustle and bustle of life kind of got to me. I didn't do as much listing because if you list stuff online, you gotta take pictures of everything, make sure everything looks good, monitor on a daily basis what's happening. And I didn't go as quickly as I wanted to. I have a bunch of inventory ready to go to my new my new listings. So I mean, I would say I kind of failed at that. My goal this year is to decrease my personal collection by 75%.
Wow.
So I didn't succeed. And then my final goal last year was to finish our inventory. We didn't, but we're gonna do that soon. That's in the next couple weeks because we really didn't. To be fair, we really didn't know exactly what the scope of that project would look like, and I think we both know now what the scope of that project looks like. So, okay.
So are we doing our next ones now?
Yeah. So what are our New Year's resolutions for this year?
All right. I will run through all of mine. You run through all of yours. I am going to continue building the signed Hasbro collection with which, truth be told, I'm gonna run out of the low-hanging fruit very, very soon. I'm getting stuck now with Takers and Sean's and the big ones. Of course, the dead ones that are already signed and out there that pop up for a King's Ransom every so often. I don't know how far I'll ever go on that, because I'm not always convinced that all of them are authentic. I know Lance is a big proponent of that. I see a lot of them that the Sharpie looks brand new despite being signed 40 years ago. And I'm skeptical on some of it. So I don't know how deep I'll go towards getting everybody. But I mean, of the obtainable living ones, I've made much more of a dent in 2025. And by 2026, I kind of hope that I'm left with green cards and some of the Sean type names that aren't around often. But that is one. Next goal, I have expanded my big rubber guys now to just be LJN style figures, because now I am all in on the Mattel LJN reboot. So I have to try to get as many of those signed as I can. But I don't even know what that's going to look like, because am I going to wait for 5 hours on a Comic-Con line for Cena to get that signed? And spend an entire day? I don't know. Maybe I'll mail it in. I don't know what I'll do. I got to figure things out. But one day I will. My next thing is, and I'm leaving it on because it will happen, we will finish our inventory. And I look forward to having everything completely just seamless and that everything is in stock and there's no hiccups. My next goal, number 4, is to identify the next big things, because for obvious reasons, Jackson and the rest of Swipe Right are busy, and we can't just bring talent that is appearing on NXT at will to shows. So I want to try to figure out who those next people are. And we have some people on the next tier, but at this point, there's not anyone I think is prepared to make the jump that these 3 took already. So I'm just open to possibilities, looking for the next talent we can work with. And last but not least is to continue focusing on creating different video content. I like the meta glasses. I like the different video recaps we've done. I found the different little like Zach with the reshoot, you complaining about the cart. I like clips like that because I think it's important for people that don't know us personally to see that the neurotic, weird, obsessive stuff you hear on here, this is not us getting ready to act and rehearsing how to act crazy. This is just us being who we are, which is crazy. And I like that you kind of, it shows that even walking into a convention, it basically sounds like an episode, and that's just who we are.
All right. I have my New Year's resolutions. I mean, to me, I don't think you departed too much from last year. A lot of similarity there. Okay. Again, Finish inventory for real is on here, so I kind of did the same thing. I'm going to continue to sell off my collection. I want to move at a faster clip. I do. I want there's some, and the reason why is because my New Year's resolution for my collection is that I'm only gonna focus on high value items.
Ooh,
that's it. So I'm not really. That's kind of my philosophy. I'm gonna kind of cull anything that's low value or that's not really of interest and just do super high value stuff. I don't have a ton of super high value stuff, but I have some, and so I'm going to retain that and then get rid of everything else. Pretty much, that's the goal. And then finally, I want to try and get more items displayed at work. So I started building out space at work to have items displayed, and it's working out for me. So I'm going to get a couple more items up there to put them on display, and maybe have rotating items that go on display just to make things a little bit interesting. Because too much stuff sitting in bins or under the bed or in boxes, and not enough that's actually out getting some fresh air.
I like it.
That's it for my resolution. So the next category is, and the final category for us here, is bold predictions. So your bold predictions were, and I gotta tease you for not being super bold with them, but here we are. Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, Jurassic Park tour did not happen. Mel Gibson hits the East Coast. Well, Mel Gibson did headline Fan Expo Philly, so that came true, which is great. And we ended up getting him. You got the auto too, right?
Yes, I got multiple autos.
I just got the photo there. You had Cena headlining Fanatics Fest. Come to think about it, wasn't Cena added as a last minute guest to Fanatics Fest?
I believe he was.
I don't know if it was. I don't know. I guess kind of. I mean, that was really not bold at all there. But Cena ended up being. Cena was everywhere last year. You could have got Cena in your backyard, I think. He was at every Fan Expo. He did a ton of shows. And what kind of the more interesting thing about Cena last year was that the steady price increase over the course of the year, right?
And it kind of went back down to earth. It looks like now that the run is over. His pricing in, I think, New Orleans is back to normal.
I did get the Cena Ultimate Fan Package at Philly Fan Expo, which was a lot of fun. He was great in that one-on-one setting. And your other prediction was Vera doing Monster Mania.
That's another one I have to start losing hope on. I don't know what they're doing. The Conjuring universe was hotter than it ever was as they were sort of celebrating its final installment. And that to me made perfect sense. And maybe behind the scenes it would be clear why it didn't happen. I don't know. But it didn't happen. And much like Sam Neill and Jeff and Laura, I'm starting to have a little bit of doubt. I feel like that franchise ending was the time. And I kind of feel like the Jurassic kids coming out, that was the time to really put something together. And neither one of them happened. So I'm a little concerned there. But listen, I'll take it 2 for 4. I'm an all-time great with that stat line.
Yeah. I'm unfortunately batting 0 for my my bold predictions. I predicted that Brad Pitt, George Clooney, and Tom Cruise would do signings of some sort, whether it be convention or private signings, and none of them did anything. I mean, Clooney was accessible in public, as was Cruise, pretty easily in 2025, but nobody did anything for money.
Agreed.
That was a mess. So let's go bold predictions 2026.
All right. Listen, I wanted my bold prediction to be kind of informative, so I did a little bit of research on who is releasing books in 2026. So I don't know how bold this is. I don't think it's quite bold enough, but I'm going to run with it because I think it's a high probability, and I think it's helpful for people to know what might be coming down the pike. Singer, actress Brandy will do a photo op book tour in 2026.
Is that a bold prediction?
I mean, it's not announced.
Who the hell cares about her? I don't know. I was hoping for something bold, something crazy.
Well, hold on. I'm getting there.
All right.
Next bold prediction. Johnny Depp does a U.S. con.
Okay.
Next bold prediction. The Nature Boy Ric Flair dies.
I mean, I think a bold prediction would be if he lived.
Well, listen, I want to bring in some morbidity to our predictions.
I mean, you've seen the cameos that he's been doing for people, right?
Yeah.
He looks barely alive right now. I think
he's Ric Flair, though. He's been barely alive for decades.
Oh God, that's so funny. That is, oh man, that is hilarious. Any more bold predictions? That's it for you.
I have one more. John Cena starts his new chapter as a con headlining mainstay. This is a guy, John Cena, you got to realize he was a top guy in WWE for like that last era where top guys really traveled like old school top guys. Yeah, he's active in Hollywood, but he's also a guy that doesn't mind working nonstop. I think it's going to be surprising how many cons. As you said last week about someone, I forget who you said it about, where there's a will, there's a way. And I think Cena is going to find his way to many a con now that he's inactive in WWE. He will make his money and spend his time in a new way.
Very fair. Let's see. What do I have for mine? So my first bold prediction is that the Facebook group marked out autograph collecting community will hit 10,000 members.
Holy crap.
In 2026. I do. I think with the pace of increase, I think we're going to have a couple more episodes that do really well, and we're going to see the numbers continue to grow. We did, I mean, when you think of what we did in 2025, right? We did almost 5,000 members. We did 4,000 members in 2025, right?
Well, listen, as you've always said, and I agree with you, that first 5,000 is a lot harder than the subsequent 5,000s.
Yeah, that's and it's a bold prediction, not a tepid prediction. It's a bold one. So there's a bold prediction.
A little more bold than Brandy, but go on.
I also, it's funny on my list, Johnny Depp does New York Comic Con. So I was going to be, I was a little bit more specific than a US show. I think he'll do New York Comic Con. So very similar between our bold predictions. And my other bold prediction is that Arnold comes out and does a signing finally in 2026. Because it's been a minute since he's done anything.
You're not killing anyone, but no death?
Again, I don't think that's a bold, but I think it's a very, very likely. I think it is likely that Flair dies. I would be surprised if Flair didn't die.
But you can get bold. You can predict, I don't know, George Clooney does. You can say anything.
No, he won't. Because I'm holding out that Flair might die in 2025. We still have a couple days. That's how bad he looks. He's more liver spot than he is skin at this point. Anyway, those are our.
The healthiest liver he has is the liver spots.
Oh my god, that's our stuff for the end of year. 2025 was a fantastic year for the hobby, but really, like everything else, 2026, I'm sure it'll find a way to be better because they always do, you know.
Yes.
The next bullet we're gonna do after the bump, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So once again, if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason, email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join and participate in the Marked Out autograph collecting community on Facebook. And we do have a private signing to announce. Drum roll, please. Go ahead, announce it.
We will be with the model, Rick Martel, former AWA world champion, courtesy of Big Event New York.
Any details about it? Yes. So not only that, I mean, I'm going to be very direct. any of the
Same.
private signings, any of the vendors, any of the bulk Rick Martel who you buy will be passing through our hands. We're handling that for big events backstage. So
Yeah. Tom wants that. I would typically keep more of the dealings private, but Tom wants no confusion. I think last time with the Goldberg thing hitting the dirt sheets and people not understanding what was going on, he wants everything crystal clear, which is why the majority of the vendors are posting the graphic with our logo on it, which I didn't even want our logo on it. I said that to Tom. I said, I don't care if my logo's on it because it's not my signing, it's yours, and you know, it is what it is. But he wants everything clear, crystal clear. So everything runs through us. We are the only, it's essentially our team. We are the only ones that are supposed to be back there with Martel. So whoever you send your items to, they are running through us. So with that said, you may as well send them directly to us, because why the hell not?
That's how it goes. Yeah. So anyone who's running a bulk or private signing, that of course that signing is done by Big Event, but we're running it for him back there. So if you're interested in Rick Martel, that's already up for sale. I imagine Rick Martel hasn't done a signing in a while, and I don't think he plans on doing another one anytime soon, based on how logistically difficult this one was to have happen. So if you still need Martel, if you still need him on that Hasbro figure or whatever, you have that elite, that very expensive elite hanging around, that Legends figure. Get it done now. That's it.
Yeah, and just a little bit of context. As far as items go, I think largely our business and everyone's business is going to be on mail order, because it's the items that people need him to sign more than what is, a brand new image. But we are offering pay-per-view posters. Like there's a Rumble poster, the 1990 Rumble poster, which is 11 by 17. He's actually pictured on that. And I mean, those, like, to me, the 91 Rumble poster is the most iconic poster in wrestling history. Well, that and 92, because they're like identical, just different guys. If you are one of those people, if you're like me and you start something a little late, like the way I started the Hasbros, if you want to start one of those Rumble posters, if you don't start it with Martel, you're not going to get him. I don't think he's coming out again. I've spoken to Tom. I'm not revealing, but like hearing what he paid Martel, there is nobody else capable, gutsy enough to take a swing of that magnitude. You want to talk about a bold prediction? That is a bold move going for Martel. So this is it. So if you want to start one of those projects, or you already did and you want to add him to it, you got to send it to us. Same with the Hasbros. We will handle the Hasbros with a care and an attention to detail. I am a Hasbro collector. You probably used to. Actually, you aren't. You always did the classics. But if you
I collected Hasbros as a kid. I beat the crap
you never
out of
got
them.
them signed, though. You never got them signed.
No.
Well, listen, we won't beat the crap out of your Hasbros. Send them our way. And I just want to comment briefly on the people in the Facebook group. Not everybody, but a couple of them. That it's a weird thing where people love to make, and I guess I was that person 20 years ago, 15 years ago. I probably was that person. I'm sure Terrence and Ken and anyone listening that was in a different position than I was 15, 20 years ago will probably be nodding their heads that I was that person. But it's always that, like, unaware Captain Obvious, well, he's a lot cheaper if you go on eBay. Like, yeah. And when Hulk Hogan was appearing at the beach shop doing meet and greets, you could have pulled an 8x10 out of their box for $50 and you could have bought that. You didn't need to meet him, or you're paying for the right and the ability and the opportunity to get your item done the way you want it. So yeah, no shit, he's cheaper online. That's the point. And then when people are like, well, you expect us to pay this? I expect, I'm not, if I was showing up at your door saying, all right, hand me your item and pay me, that would be me expecting. I don't, the people that are saying that and acting like that, they've never spent a dime with me. I'm expecting nothing. If they woke up out of bed and got hit by a bus, I wouldn't be happy. But I mean, I wouldn't even realize that they existed to begin with. It's like, I expect nothing from you. It's like, don't act like we're expecting anything. This is an opportunity and an offer. If it's not for you, awesome. It doesn't have to be. People love to be like, I met him 15 years ago. He was cheaper. Yeah, everyone was cheaper. And everyone is cheaper on eBay if you want to buy just a generic 8x10.
And look, is Martell pricey? Yes. That's what he's asking. It's not like we have control.
Yeah.
We are not getting rich from this.
Yeah. Tom, here's how it goes. Peel back the orange skin a little bit more. Tom is not paying this guy $5,000 and pricing him like this to make a boatload of cash. Tom is paying him what it took to get it done. Tom, in turn, has to charge what he's charging to have a chance of making money at the price he's paying him. And we are confined by what Tom is charging. We can't say, hell, let's lose half the money and be charitable, and we're going to charge $40. No, we're not allowed.
Unfortunately, when we're doing mail order and handling and stuff, when you're doing large, bulky items, there's a risk of getting things damaged. There's a risk of moving things around. So we have to build in, it's not like a premium pricing thing for in person. It's the same price for everything in person. When you're mailing stuff in, stuff that requires extra care, extra packaging, extra trips to the car, extra equipment on our end to be able to move things around in an efficient way, it's got to cost a little bit more money. That's just how it goes.
And then the one guy, which I don't think he meant any harm by it, but he's like, oh, what are the vendors paying for bulk? It can't be 95 and 105. And it's like, obviously, what vendor? We've talked about a lot of vendors and promoters out there who are complete morons, who will lose money and break even just to sit next to the talent. But there's not anyone really active in the private signing game that is not at least attempting to make money. So are we all charging more than we're paying Tom to get this stuff done? Of course. My question would be, would you want to send your item to someone deranged enough to do it for free? Like, I would hope not. So yeah, we're trying to make money. We can only make so much money because Martell's price is so high that no one's giving. There's no good deals to be had, period. This is just the only deal. This is the only opportunity. Is Martell too high at this price in the terms of the market? Probably. But if you want him, this is it. Tom got it done. No one else is getting it done. This is your opportunity. Basically, get your stuff done or forever hold your peace.
And look, yes, I can see on eBay, American Icons and whatever, they have inventory from Martell at $50. Those pictures, it's just a crappy 8x10 picture.
Yeah, one guy commented and replied to me, and he's like, oh, glossy images and Sharpies weren't invented after COVID. And I responded back with, glossy images and Sharpies haven't been premium in 20 years. That's not a premium print. If you're an old school collector and that's what you want, well, then awesome. You can buy it for a lot cheaper. American Icons is a great source. And you don't have to worry about this. But this is for the people that want metallics. This is for the people that have a Hasbro. There's one signed Hasbro right now on eBay for $500. You can buy unsigned Hasbros for $2 and change, get it signed for $1.05, and you're talking at least $140, $150 savings. That's not to disparage the listing. At $500, it's fair, but this is your chance to get it signed now for cheaper.
Maybe get a little inscription on there too.
Yes. Yeah. Inscriptions, personalizations, extra $10, simply because if we are guaranteeing something, that is an effort. That is an extra thing that can go wrong, and we're offering it. If somehow he can't inscribe due to time constraints, you will be refunded for the inscription. But of course, the autograph, if he signs it, that you're stuck with. But the inscription would be refunded if it doesn't get done.
It's going to be not a problem. We're going to be handling this just fine, so we'll be good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to handling this for Tom. Any vendors want bulk pricing on Martell, please feel free to reach out. We are handling all of that for a big event. So that's the only thing we have to announce right now, I think. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, what's coming up? I mean, you're going to that KNS Con. Was that next week? This week? When is that?
Yeah. I also have something else going on in the city, which I don't know if I want to blow up. I guess I will. No one's going to care. I'm going to the Mass Appeal pop-up shop for Dave East. So I'll be doing that before KNS Con on Friday.
I don't even know who Dave East is.
He's a rapper. He's an actor. He plays Method Man in the Wu-Tang show. And he's a pretty respected New York rapper for the last decade or so.
I recognize his face. What is he on? Where's IMDb? What do we got here? Let's see. Monsters and Men, didn't see. Bosco, didn't see. Not a lot here that I would have seen.
Yeah, I didn't even send it to you because I was fairly confident this is not a you guy. So
yeah, no, nothing here really for me. What do you bring to get signed? Are you gonna buy something and hope for the best, or
he did a meet and greet? He did a meet and greet last week at a different spot, and he signed. So I'm not very concerned. Amazon Prime has vinyls, so I bought a vinyl, and if somehow he doesn't sign, I just will send it back. Pretty risk free. I don't think they have any of his vinyls in the shop. I've been in that shop for many an hour now, and I've stared at these racks just to kill time. I know everything.
The posters or prints of the movies he was in or anything?
Oh, I'd rather have the album. I don't really care about the movies or anything.
Oh, so it goes. And so then KNS is also on Friday?
That's Saturday.
Saturday the 3rd?
Saturday the 3rd? Yeah, the 3rd. Saturday the 3rd, KNS Con. It's there's a lot of fun names there. I have some stuff for Duggan. I picked up a Dean Douglas, Hasbro figure for Shane. I got, I got the Mr. Hughes, Zombie Sailor. I don't love all of those figures, but this one I actually like. So, I'll be getting some figures signed that I really don't need and spending money that I probably shouldn't spend, but that's the fun of this hobby. Blowing money and adding to the clutter.
There you go. I have nothing coming up because I don't think I'm doing anything until spring. And even spring is going to be tough, but we'll see. I always say that, and then some book signing gets announced, and I get dragged out. It always happens that way. You claim something, and you wind up going out anyway. So I guess that's it for us this week. 2025 was a great year. It was a great year for Marked Out Collectibles. It was a great year for Marked Out Radio. It was kind of an insane year for Marked Out Radio. I hope 2026 is better because obviously we always want better. Any final thoughts on 2025?
It's been a hell of a ride. Thank you guys for being there. Because as I've said before, if you weren't, it would just be you and I just having a weekly phone call that no one else was listening to. And it would really be pretty stupid. So, yeah, it's been a hell of a lot of fun. And let's keep it going in 2026.
All right. Couldn't have said it better. So for markedout.com, Marked Out Collectibles, Marked Out Radio, I'm Sean.
And I'm Dana.
And we'll see you in the new year.